folks. Today I'm going to be talking about a game called the American Dream. This game came out in 1979 from Milton Bradley, and it is for 2 to 4 players. Now the object of this game is you're trying to be the first player to earn $1 million. And there are several ways that you can do this. You can buy franchises, you can get your salary up, you can invest in stocks, you can try to collect on patents and copyrights and great ideas. A lot of different ways you can earn money in this game. So without further ado, let's show you how it works. Okay folks, I'm going to go ahead and show you the components really quick, and I'm going to just talk about the different things in this game. There's a lot of stuff here. Alright, the first thing you have here is your game board, and there's a bunch of different spaces here that you can do a bunch of different things with. Right here you have 4 sets of cards. You've got your prudential cards here. These cards work as insurance against these cards, which are called trap cards. Trap cards will typically make you pay money for different things, and there's 2 types of cards. There's insurable, such as this. If you draw this and you have one of these prudential cards, you'll be able to play the insurance against this, and you won't have to pay anything. Now, there are also cards that say non-insurable, and these insurance cards won't work on these. So essentially what you're going to have to do is follow the instructions on this card. Now, if it turns out if you draw a trap card such as this and you end up not being able to pay it, you're going to have to keep this trap card with you until you are able to pay it off. And you're not going to be able to buy anything until you are able to pay off that trap card. Alright, next you have your experience cards. Now your experience cards have some numbers on here, and what you can do with these cards is you can add these numbers to your die roll. So say you rolled a 12, if you wanted to add a number to your die roll, you could just throw this on there and make it 13. Now you can use as many of these experience cards as you want to, and you can also just play the experience cards without having to roll dice. These here are your American Dream cards, and there's a lot of different things here. You've got what are called cards that will allow you to purchase a stock in this certain industry each time it's your turn. You have cards that are patents, and you'll earn money if you end up landing on that patent space if you have this every time. You also have copyrights over here, and these work similar to patents. If you end up drawing this card and landing on that U.S. Copyright Office space over there, you can turn this card over, and then you will end up taking $50,000. And the same with the patent space. If you end up landing on that space again, you will go ahead and earn this money again. Now the instructions don't tell you if you're going to earn money if you have more than one copyright card or more than one patent card, so you're just going to have to kind of make up your own rule as far as that goes. And also, there's more than one of each of these patent cards. So if you're the first person to get the patent or the copyright and somebody else has that card and they land on that space, it's going to make their card null and void. Now there is a card also that will allow you to steal the patents and the copyright. When somebody ends up trying to claim a copyright, you would just simply play this card if you have it, and it can use it one time, and you can take the card out of play just as he's about to collect for. So that can be a very helpful card. And there's also one for the patent as well. You've got your idea cards, and this is one of them, the Whopper Sandwich. And if you end up landing on this space right over here, you'll end up earning $200,000. Now, if you land on this space again, it's not going to pay you the $200,000 over and over again, such as it would with a patent. This thing basically keeps track of your salary. Now, you're going to start with $10,000, and each time you pass this imagination space or land on it, you're going to earn this amount of money. Now, there's a lot of ways you can actually increase the value of your salary. One way is if you roll doubles on the dice. If you decide to roll 2 dice and you roll double ones, for example, your salary would increase by $5,000. If you decide to roll 3 dice and you ended up rolling like a 3 of a kind, your salary would increase by $10,000. Right here are your franchises and your stock certificates. These 4 right here are your franchises. These cost $30,000, and basically you can buy these when you land on the appropriate space here on the board. When you purchase these, you're going to go ahead and increase your salary by $10,000. And anytime you land on, say, your franchise space, you're going to earn $10,000 for each one of these that you have. And there's Kentucky Fried Chicken, there's Burger King, there's the NFL, and then there is Holiday Inn. The rest of these are your stock certificates over here, and there's 12 different types, and there's 7 of each of these stocks. You can buy these stocks, again, when you land on the space, or if you happen to have an American Dream card that will allow you to purchase one particular type of stock on every turn. These cost $10,000. This is not going to increase your salary. Now, if you end up landing on a space that has the stock on it, say you landed on the Ford, you would earn $5,000 for each stock certificate that you have. Now, if you end up having all of the start certificates, and there's 7 of them, you will end up earning a $70,000 bonus every time you end up landing on this space. Okay, so in the beginning of the game, everybody's going to start with $10,000 in salaries, and everybody is going to get 2 American Dream cards, 1 insurance card, and then 1 experience card. You can choose to roll 1, 2, or all 3 dice, and you can also play any experience cards that you have along with the roll after you roll them. So you'll basically call out how many dice you're going to go ahead and roll, and then you're going to roll them, and then you're going to go ahead and move that amount of spaces. So in this case, I would move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like so. And that's basically how that works. If I wanted to add an experience card, I could just say, okay, I'm going to add 2 to that, and then I would go ahead and do something like that, and I would end up on the NFL space in this case. And I forgot to mention there are 4 of these pawns over here. If you go all the way around the board here and past this space or land on it, you're going to go ahead and collect your salary. However, if you decide to circumvent this space, say you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and went up this track, you're going to forfeit your salary. Now there's a space on here that is called blue chip dividend. This is basically going to pay you $5,000 for every stock that you own. So let's say I had 3 of these Kellogg stocks and 2 of these Levi stocks. This would end up paying me $25,000 every time I landed on this. And the more stocks I had, the more money I would end up getting from this. There's also one here called Stock Fight, and this is a fun little space. Basically what happens is, if let's say I had 2 stocks of Kellogg's and my opponent had 1 stock, what I could do is I could go ahead and challenge him to a stock fight. What I would do is I would get 2 dice to roll, and he would get 1, and he would have to tie my highest die or go higher than it in order to win. So what's going to happen, let's just say I roll, and I rolled a 4 and a 5, and let's say he rolled a 2. Since he lost, I'm going to go ahead and take his stock and put it on my spot. Now, the main thing is that you have to have a stock that your opponent has as well. And as long as you have stocks that he has, you can keep on rolling and keep on taking his stock up until the point where your opponent either beats you or you decide to stop. And if you're playing like more than 2 players, you can, if you drain your opponent or whatever, you can go to another player and try to take his stock so long as you have it. Now, if your opponent ends up beating you, let's say he ended up rolling a 6, like so, and you roll these 2, then he's going to end up taking one of your stocks. Your opponent would then take one of your stocks that you were battling over. Now, if you land on something here that says choose any card, you're going to be able to pick any one of these cards to draw from. So a lot of the strategy is going to be trying to figure out which card you want to draw, depending on how you're going to be earning the money. Now, there are 2 tracks over here that you can see. There's a credibility track and a flexibility track, and these work as shortcuts. Now, you have to land on here by exact count in order to use it. And in order to use the credibility track, you'll have to have had a great idea, copyright, or a patent that you were able to uncover and use and get collected money for. In order to get on the flexibility over here, you're going to have a salary on here that is worth $100,000 or more. You're going to have to make a decision as to which way you're going to go before you roll. And anytime you go this way or this way, you'll see it says take experience card. You'll just simply skip over this and take an experience card on your way out. There's one there and one there. The other space is the American Express space, and there is one here. If you land on that, this will allow you to go anywhere, which is a really, really helpful thing. So now if you decide to fly and you fly over the imagination space, you're not going to collect salary. So anyway, that's kind of how the game works. You're going to have a lot of different choices as far as how you're going to make money. You can make money by collecting stocks, by collecting franchises, by uncovering patents, uncovering copyrights, passing the imagination space, rolling doubles and triples to try to get your salary up, also purchasing franchises to get your salary up, trying to collect on great ideas, the blue chip dividends. So there's quite a lot of ways you can earn money to try to get up to the $1 million. And one interesting rule is if you make the $1 million, you have to go ahead and say you made the $1 million. Because if you end up making the $1 million and you don't say anything and someone else makes $1 million and claims it, then that means they are going to win. So that's one unique rule right there. So anyway, that's how American Dream works. So my thoughts on the American Dream. Well, this is one of those games that's probably going to remind you of Monopoly because it's a roll and move game and it has a goal of trying to earn money. But this game is way better than Monopoly in my opinion. One of the great things about this game is the flexibility that you have. There are so many different ways that you can make money, and you really have to kind of think about what you want to do. There's advantages and disadvantages in each way that you can earn money. For example, you could collect on the stock certificates and things of that nature, but you don't really earn that much money until you start collecting them. Or you can go ahead and do the franchises, which cost more, but that will increase your salary card. And then you also have a lot of those American Dream cards that have a lot of different things that you can do on them. When it comes to doing the patents and the copyrights, you can earn a big chunk of money, but there's only one patent space and one copyright space as well. And the same with all the great ideas. There's a lot of different great ideas. They have lifesavers, they got the Slinky, they've got the Whopper sandwich, a lot of those different types of things, and those will also earn you some good cash, but again, there's only one space on the board that has each of those on it. And of course you have the shortcuts that you can use to try to get around the board faster. However, you can only land on them by exact count. Now, the experience cards add a great deal of depth to this game because a lot of times you might be thinking, well, I could just roll 3 dice all the time, but no, because again, there's very few spaces in certain areas that you can land on in order to collect money. So a lot of times you're going to probably want to roll 1 die because there's a patent office like maybe 4 spaces away from you. And then of course you have the experience cards that you can use to play after the die roll to try to get you to a certain space faster. I think that's a really good idea, and especially you can just use the experience cards yourself to collect some money on spaces that you probably would not get to with a die roll. So I think that's a really great idea as far as that goes. This game goes for probably about $20 or so on eBay. This is a game I would recommend. You just have to kind of factor in, if you're not a fan of roll and move games, you're probably not going to like this. But again, there's a lot of the disadvantages of roll and move game that is nullified because of the experience cards. And plus, there's so many different ways that you can earn money on this game. You can change your strategy up easily. And another thing about it is, like, when you have to think about what card you want to draw, that can really add to the strategy as well, because if you're out of experience cards, you might want to get an experience card to try to help you. But you might go with the American Dream card and hope that you can get a card that will help you earn a lot of money fast. So there's a lot you have to think about with this game. So I definitely recommend this game. I think it's a pretty cool game. I don't know how often I would bring this game out, but I definitely like it. I think it's better than Monopoly, and it's better than a lot of those roll and move games out there, in my opinion. So that's my review of the American Dream. Y'all take care. Keep on gaming.